Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math.
Sean Gannon, and this is Minute Math, and today we're going to learn about multiplying decimals and find each product. Negative 5.5 times a negative 4.87. Okay. Now the one thing I want to look at these two. I ignore the negatives right now. Okay. I just deal with the positive numbers, and I'll deal with the negative at the end. So I'm going to use my traditional method here, and I'm going to put 4.87 up top and 5.5 down here. Okay. All right. Now, what we want to do is just multiply like we do anything else. Imagine it's just 487 times 55. 5 times 7 is 35, so we have 5 here, carry the 3. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 3 is 43. 3 carry the 4. 5 times 4 is 20, plus that 4 is 24. Okay? We now have a place value for the 0. We're going to X out our previous numbers that were up top there. And the 0 for the first one down, so now we use the second 5. 5 times 7, again, is 35. 5 carry the 3. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 3 is 43. 3 carry the 4. 5 times that 4 is 20, plus another 4 is 24. So we have 24, and now we add these two numbers together. 5 plus 0, 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. 4 plus 3 is 7. 2 plus 4 is 6. And 2 plus nothing is 2. Now we had a total, right, or here of 26,785. That's not our final answer, right? It wouldn't make sense. A number bigger than 5, just bigger than 5, or halfway, 5.5 times a number close to 5 isn't that large, right? So we look at the decimals. We have how many decimal places total? 1, 2, and 3, right? So we have 1, 2, 3. Right there's where our new decimal place should be. So we have 26.785. Now, we have to look now at the negatives. A negative times a negative is always a positive. So we have a positive here, just to confirm. So our final answer is positive 26.785. 1.7 times a negative 2.1. All right? Well, I'm just going to set this up without the negatives, like the traditional way. 1.7 times 2.1. Okay? Well, ignoring the decimals for right now. 1 times 7 is 7, and 1 times 1 is 1. Place value for the 2 now. 2 times 7 is 14. So we carry the 1 there. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. We add these two numbers together. 7 and 0 is 7, 1 and 4 is 5, and 3 is 3. But now we have two decimal places, right? One from the top, first number and one from the second. So we move that decimal over 1, 2 places. And so here we have a 3.57. Now we have to deal with the negative. A positive times a negative is always a negative. So we have negative 3.57 here. And so our final answer, again, negative 3.57. 0.2 times negative 1.6. Okay? Well, what I want to do is I'm going to ignore the negative and write it out like this. 1.6 over 0.2. I'm going to multiply these together. Now, again, I kind of ignore the decimals for a little bit as well when I'm doing my multiplication steps here. 2 times 6 is 12, so we have 2, carry the 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Okay? And the 0 is kind of pointless. 0 times anything is 0. But we have two decimal places, right? Because 1.6 times 0.2 would never be close to 32, right? We have two decimal places, all right? One on top, one on the bottom. So we have 1, 2 decimal places moved over. And so we have a 0.32. And it's good to put the 0 there because it helps show that there is a decimal right there that might be missed if you didn't have a 0 there. But now we have to worry about the negative. Positive times a negative is always a negative. So it'd be negative 0.32. And so that is our final answer. 1.7 times negative 3.1. Okay? I'm going to ignore the negative right now, and I'm going to write it like this. 1.7 times 3.1. Okay? And I kind of ignore the decimals until the end of this as well. Let's multiply these together. 1 times 7, 7. 1 times 1, 1. Place value now, because I'm going to deal with the 3. Okay? 3 times 7 is 21. 1 carry the 2. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 2 is 5. Now we're going to add these two numbers together. 7 plus 0, 7. 1 and 1 is 2. And 5 is just by itself. Okay? Now, 1.7 and 3.1, right? Each of them have one decimal place value right there, right? 1 plus 1 is 2. So we're going to move this over 2 spaces. Okay? So now we have a 5.27. But we cannot forget the negatives. A positive times a negative is always a negative. Negative right there. Final answer, negative 5.27. Negative 4.6 times a negative 7.2. Okay? Well, I'm kind of going to go to the right here, and I'm going to ignore the negatives. So I have 7.2 times 4.6. Okay? So let's just go through it. 6 times 2 is 12. So we have 2, carry the 1. 6 times 7 is 42, plus 1 is 43. So we have 43 right there. Place value for the 4 or for the 6. Now we go with the 4. 4 times 2 is 8. And 4 times 7 is 28, right? So we have 28 here. Now we add these two numbers together, okay? 0 plus 2, or 2 plus 0 is 2. 8 plus 3 is 11. So we have 1, carry the 1. 8 plus 4 is 12, plus 1 is a 3. Or, it's 13, right? Carry the 1. And then 1 plus 2 is 3. So now we have 3,312. But I had 2 decimal places, right? So I'm going to move that decimal place over 2 spots. 1, 2, right there. And so now we have 33.12. But we also see we have a negative times a negative. Well, we know a negative times a negative is a positive. So a positive there. So our final answer, 33.12. Negative 5.928 times a negative 11.6. Okay? Well, I'm going to ignore the negatives right now, and I'm going to multiply it like this. 5.928 times 11.6. Okay? So, ignore the decimals as well, but we're going to leave them written right there. 6 times 8, 48. We have an 8 here, carry the 4. 6 times 2 is a 12, plus 4, okay? 12 plus 4 is 16. So we have 6 here, carry the 1. 6 times 9 is 54, plus 1 is 55. 5, carry the 5. And 6 times 5 is 30, plus 5 is 35. Place value for take place at 6, and we deal with this 1 right there. 1 times 8 is 8. 8 times 2 is 2. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 9 is 9. And 1 times 5 is 5. Okay? Then, we have another place value. All right, so we have 1 0 and another 0, right? We're going to deal with this 1 right here. So these two place values. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 9 is 9. And 1 times 5 is 5. We're now going to add all these numbers up. 8 added up is 8 plus 0 and 0 is 8. 6 plus 8, okay, is going to give us a 14. So we have 4 here, carry the 1. All right. 2 plus 8 is 10, plus 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16. 6, carry the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17. So we have 7 here, carry the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10, right? And 10 plus 5 is 15, plus 3 is 18. 8 carry the 1, and 5 plus 1 is 6. Okay, so now we have a large number, but we have to add back the decimals. We have 3 decimal places on the first number and 1 in the second. So we have 1, 2, 3, plus 1 more. So we have 68.7648. So I'll put that here, 68.764.8. Okay, which kind of makes sense, right? If you think about this number being close to 6, this one say close to 11. 6 times 11, 66. Pretty close, all right? Now, a negative times a negative, can't forget that part, is always a positive. So, positive there. Final answer, positive 68.764.8. Negative 1.5 times negative 7.1. All right. Well, I'm going to write this over under. Let's do this. 1.5 times 7.1, and I'm ignoring the negatives. 1 times 5 is 5, and 1 times 1 is 1. Pretty easy. Place value for that 1. Now we're to the 7. 7 times 5 is 35. 5 carried the 3. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10, so we have 10 right here. Add these two numbers up. 5 and 0 are 5, 1 and 5 is 6, 0 and 0, and 1 is right there. So now we have 1065, but we have 2 decimal places we have to account for. 1 from each number. 1, 2. Now we have 10.65, so we have 10.65 right here. But now I have to worry about my negatives. A negative times a negative is always a positive. So we have positive here. So final answer, positive 10.65. 7.8 times 5.1. Okay, so 7.8 times 5.1. Well, let's go set it up here over top of each other. 7.8 times 5.1. Okay? Big decimals. All right. Multiply it out. 1 times 8, 8. 1 times 7, 7. Always easy when it's a 1. Place value now for that 1. So now we have the 5. 5 times 8 is 40. 0, carry the 4. 5 times 7 is 35. Plus 4 is 39. So we have 39 right there. Add these two numbers together. 8 and 0 is 8. 7, 0, 7. Now we bring down the 39, right? I mean, 9 plus nothing is 9, and 3 plus nothing is 3. All right, but our answer isn't 3,978. We had 2 decimal places, so let's add back 2 decimal places. So now we have 39.78 here. But we also know that a positive times a positive is a positive, just to double check. So final answer here, just to make sure we did it, is a positive 39.78. Negative 7.5 times 9 times a negative 8.3. Okay? Well, the first thing I'm going to deal with is just the first 2 numbers. We have 7.5 times 9. And I'm going to ignore the negative. So 7.5 times 9. Okay. Well, 9 times 5 is 45. 5, carry the 4. Okay. And 9 times 7 is a 63. So we have 63 there, plus 4 is 67. Okay, so we have 67 right there. Now we know, all right, we have to move a place value for the decimal right there. So we have 1 up here. So 1 place value there, 67.5. Now a negative times a positive is a negative, so we have a negative 67.5 here, and then we're going to multiply that by the negative 8.3. Okay? So now I'm going to do that over here. Ignore the negatives and apply them at the end. 67.5 times good old 8.3. Okay? Well, 3 times 5 is 15. 5, carry the 1. 3 times 7 is 21, plus 1 is 22. 2, carry the 2. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 2 is 20. Okay? So now we got to deal with the 8. Place value for the 3 right there. 8's right there. 8 times 5 is 40. 0. Actually, count these out. Carry the 4. Okay? 8 times 7 is 56 plus 4. Okay, 56 plus 4 is 60. 0, carry the 6. Okay, now we have 8 times 6 is 48, plus another 6 is 54. Okay, so we have 54 here. Everything's lined up good. Add these two numbers together. 5 and 0 are 5. 2 and 0 are 2. 0, 0, 0. 2 plus 4 is 6. And 5 is right here. Okay? So now we have a very large number, but we have to remember our decimals. Okay? 2 decimal places were used, so we go over 2 decimal places, right? 1 for each of these numbers. Okay? So bring that here. We have 560.25. And we cannot forget our negatives. At this point, we had a negative times a negative, which is always a positive. So final answer, positive 560.25. Negative 4.04 times 9, negative 9, excuse me, times 3. Okay? So let's go multiply it left to right here. Negative 4.04 times negative 9. Well, I'm going to ignore the negatives for right now. 4.04 times 9. Okay? 9 times 4 is 36. 6, carry the 3. 9 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is 3. 9 times 4 is 36. Okay? So we have 3,636, which we know can't be right because that's nowhere near 9 times 4. But we have 2 decimal places in the first number and 0 added on the second. So we just have a total of 2. So 1, 2. And now we have 36.36. But we know a negative times a negative was a positive, so it's important to note that there. Now let's bring down the 3. So now we have 36.36 times 3. Okay? Well, let's write that out. 36.36 times 3. Well, 3 times 6 is 18, right? 8, carry the 1. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. 0, carry the 1. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 1 is 19. 9, carry the 1. Okay? 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So we have 10,908. But we have 2 decimal places on our first number and 0 added on our second. So 2 decimal places total, 1, 2, right there. So we have a 109.08. And a positive times a positive, again, it's a positive. So final answer is a positive 109.08. 3.2 times 8.7 times a negative 1.1. Okay? Well, let's deal with the first 2 numbers. 3.2 times 8.7. 3.2 times, let's put the 8.7 here, it doesn't matter, 8.7, all right? 7 times 2 is 14, 4, carry the 1, and 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 is 22, okay? Cancel out that 1 for the next ones now. Place value for the 8, okay, or the 7 there. 8 times 2 is 16, 6, carry the 1. 8 times 3, okay, is 24, plus 1 is 25. We add them together. Okay, 4 plus 0 is a 4. 2 plus 6 is an 8. 2 plus 5 is 7. And 2 and nothing is 2. So we have 2784. But we have 2 decimal places total. So we got to move that over 2 spots. Okay, so that is now 27.84. And a positive times a positive is a positive. So we're good. Now we'll bring down the negative 1.1. So let's go multiply these two now. 27.84 times 1.1. All right, 1 times 4 is a 4. 1 times 8 is an 8. 1 times 7 is 7. And 1 times 2, 2. Place value for that first one, 0. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 2 is 2. Now we add these two numbers together. 4 plus 0 is a 4. 8 plus 4 is 12. 2, I'm sorry, you can hear the noise of my cat probably. 1, right there. 8 plus 7 is a 15, plus 1 is 16, 6 carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 7 is 10, so 0 carry the 1. And 1 plus 2 is 3. So we have 3, 0, 6, 2, 4. But we have a total of 2 decimal places and 1 decimal place, which is 3. So 1, 2 plus 1 gives us a 3. So our final answer here is just 30.624. But do not forget that negative. I almost did. Positive times a negative is always a negative. Negative there. So now our final answer, negative 30.624. 8.1 times 8.6 times negative 5.2. Okay? Alright, so let's deal with the 8.1 times 8.6 first. Let's write it here. 8.1 times 8.6. Okay? Well, 6 times 1 is 6, and 6 times 8 is 48. Pretty straightforward. 8 times 1 is 8. Oh, sorry, almost forgot that place value. Oof. Make that a lesson to you all. Place value for the 6, getting ahead of myself. 8 times 1 now is an 8, don't forget that. And 8 times 8 is 64. Add the two numbers together. 6 and 0, 6. 8 and 8 is 16, right? 16, carry the 1. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And 6 and nothing is a 6. So now we have 2 decimal places, right? 1 for each number, so we have to add those in. 1, 2. And so here we have 69.66, okay? And a positive times a positive is a positive. Now let's bring down the negative 5.2, okay? Well, I'm going to show that over here. 69.66 times 5.2, okay? That's 5.2. I ignore the negatives right now. 2 times 6 is 12. 2, carry the 1. 2 times 6 again is 12. Carry the 1 is 13. 3, carry the 1. 2 times 9 is 18. Plus 1 is 19. 9, carry the 1. And 2 times 6 is 12 again. Plus 1 is 13. All right. So now I have to deal with 5. So I'm going to get rid of all these place values here and put a 0 here. Place values was, they're called the top numbers there. Put a place value here, and now we have 5. 5 times 6 is 30. 0, carry the 3. 5 times 6 again is 30. Plus 3 is 33. 3, carry the 3. 5 times 9 is 45. Plus 3 is 48. So we have 8 here. Carry the 4. And 5 times 6 again is 30. Plus 4 is 34. We add these two numbers together. 2 and 0 are 2. 3 and 0 are 3. 9 and 3 are 12. 2, carry the 1. 3 plus 8 is 11. Plus 1 is 12. 2, carry the 1. 1 and 4 are 5. Plus another 1 is 6. And 3 is right here. Okay? So now we have a very large number, but we have to add back our decimals. 2 decimals and 1 decimal, total of 3 decimals. So we have 1, 2, 3 decimal places. So we have 362.232. And then we know, we can't forget, right? Positive and negative. Positive times a negative is a negative. Negative right there. So final answer, negative 362.232. Okay?
Minute Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. Minute Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. MinuteMathTutor.com.